Hello, welcome to Skye's Sweaty Record Review, episode 61. It's the only new music review show hosted by a French professor immediately after getting off the elliptical at the YMCA. Today, I'm going to have what I call a DJ battle. Now, if you're new to the show, I often will compare two albums that came out, and I will call it a battle. But it's not actually a battle. I think that's stupid. I don't like to do things that people enjoy on this channel. So people like scores, 5 out of 10, 10 out of 10. I don't like that. I think it's dumb and reductive. I think you just watch my review and then figure out what you like. We can't turn sound into numbers. And then beyond that, I also don't like, getting really snarky and like saying this is good and this is bad. So this is a battle in the way I'm going to be comparing two things that are very different. And it's pretty clear that I like one more than the other. But it's not a battle in the traditional sense. I like both of these albums. I'm going to be reviewing Craze, Knowledge of Self, which actually came out last month, but I don't understand the algorithm, so I just discovered it yesterday in my new music feed. So Knowledge of Self by Craze versus Disolution by someone named Rudosa. What is wrong with the world? Why is there only one word for DJ? DJ means so many different things. One time my dad asked me, what does it mean, a DJ? And I had to go on this 20-minute explanation, I mean, in his mind, a DJ is like someone on the radio who plays music, like Murray the K or Mr. Magic, right? But then there's the hip-hop DJ, and so I had to explain what that person does. And then there is the electronic DJ. And I don't really know what that is either. I'm starting to really understand. But I want to tell you a funny story about me when I was younger. And by that I mean when I was younger and when I was older. You see, there was a period of 4 or 5 years where I was an old man. I was 24 years old. And people become old when they turn 24 because their musical taste gets rigid. And everything before was good and everything now is bad. So I was hanging around with this girl who's a couple years younger than me. She would be my future ex-wife, maid of honor, Kelly. Nice person. And we were driving. It was actually weird. I remember where we were driving. We were driving up the hill in Belmont, where I grew up in Massachusetts. And she just she's talking to me about music. And she's like, "So who's your favorite DJ?" And back then, I was just a prick. I was really arrogant. I really thought I knew everything. So I actually laughed in her face. I don't know why she was friends with me. But anyways, I just laughed in her face. Because it was the stupidest question. Who's your favorite DJ? I knew she didn't like hip-hop. So I knew she meant something electronic. And so I kind of laughed and was just sort of I don't know, Cutmaster Cool V. I just said something hipstery and related to hip-hop. And then she was and then she listed off 4 or 5 people, whoever it was that was popular in 2001. And then I listened to some of their music. And I'm like, this isn't DJing. This is just someone pressing a button on a computer and having it play. But of course, that is a DJ. So for the purposes of Skye's Sweaty Record Review, I'm going to introduce a new term. I'm just going to call them EDJs, as in electronic DJs, as in music makers who perform the DJ role in a dance hall or in a concert or whatever, where they're playing music for people, but it's electronic, and it's about creating things with synthesizers and automated music as opposed to cutting and scratching and samples. So today we're going to be reviewing a real DJ and an EDJ. And what's cool is that the real DJ I'm going to be reviewing made this video. That's one of my favorite YouTube videos. I'm going to put a link in it. The guy's name is Craze, and he goes also by DJ Craze. And it's this video that he made of himself, sitting down and listening to this stand-up comedian, being like, what is a DJ? Why does everybody think that you can DJ? Because you can. And it shows pictures of Paris Hilton, pressing a button on a computer. It shows pictures of David Guetta being stoned and weird. And then it goes on. It's a DJ is just a glorified iPod user. iPod controller. And so then he hears this, and then he gets up, and then he takes a song, New Slaves by Kanye, and just scratches it beyond all comprehension, and creates new rhythms with the samples, and uses the drum machine that's on the turntables to create even more new rhythms. And he's cutting, and he's scratching, he's using his elbow, he's using his back, he's going behind his back. It's a masterful performance. And it's kind of like, I'm a real DJ. So when I heard Craze's album, I was expecting it to be all, but it wasn't. It was actually closer to EDJ. It was like creating music, and a lot of it was with synthesizer. None of it was like automated, arpeggiators or anything like that. But still, it wasn't quite what I was expecting. But it was absolutely wonderful. Now with Rudosa, I had no idea what to expect. So Craze is from Miami. I guess he grew up in Nicaragua or moved from Nicaragua. And Rudosa is just from Manchester. So he's got very much like the Euro feel. Everything's fairly homogeneous. And I came up with another distinction between these kinds of beats. Because the thing is, a DJ, their job is to get you moving, right? To get you dancing. Or to get you thinking. I don't know, get you in a different mindset. But if you listen to these albums, and I would suggest it, okay? Listen to the first track, KOS, off of Knowledge of Self, and Disolution by Rudosa. Listen to them back to back. They both get you moving, but in a different way. And so I've divided them into two different categories. Craze is head nod beats. So you listen to it and you're like, you get like excited, and you get that head nod. Like you're not amped, but you're like psyched. My God, I sound like an 80s surfer. It is completely tubular. But Rudosa is the beat. So you hear it, kind of like the What Is Love, Will Ferrell, Chris Kattan joke from the 90s, So this is essentially a battle. Here's some more production. It's head nod versus these are very different emotions. I prefer the head nod. It's a 17-minute album, Craze's album, Knowledge of Self. But there isn't a second on it that I don't absolutely love. It's fascinating because it's hard to pin down what genre it is. If you take the first song, the whole album gets a stamp. Like there isn't a song I can really pick out as being particularly great. But the first song, KOS, is a great example of the way that he puts these things together. It starts off with kind of like this old sample. He mixes in like intentionally some analog grit in the background so it sounds a little bit crunchy. And then brings in like this heavy, harsh synthesizer, almost like a dubstep synthesizer, like wah, waka, waka, walk, walk, wah, that kind of beat. I mean, that kind of synthesizer, but mixed up with a drum beat that's a little bit funky and not just straight. Throughout the album, he uses lots of different kinds of samples, which is nice. He'll use just one-word samples. Like in the first song, he has Redman, the rapper, just saying, and he says, "Come on," like just that. He uses slow down samples. So also in that song, say, "Watch out for Jakes, fakes, and snakes," or something like that. Like some old, I think it's a Redman line or maybe Method Man. But he's kind of mixing it all together. And then I'll also have extended quotes, like on the song "Humans Are Stupid," which is a great title. They have like these weird robots. I swear, listen to this and tell me if I'm right in the comments. I believe he says, "Humans are stupid. Humans are nothing. Scones are everything." But scones? Are these like robotic scones? I don't know. I must have misheard it. But it's nice having this mixture of the long samples and the short samples. The whole thing is astoundingly funky. There's a song called Nakoya, which uses a nice kind of tribal sample. There's even like surprising subtlety in it. A song called Word Up. They have like an integration of like a drum beat with like the same drum beat but with an effect and mixed in with the samples, and then the keyboards come in. You listen to it, it's really well developed. My main disappointment is that this guy's a turntable champion, okay? Like I looked it up on YouTube, Wikipedia. He legitimately won 3 turntable championships, and only like twice, and just a little bit at the end, do you hear him actually scratching. I'd be interested to see if he could mix together being an electronic music creator and an actual physical DJ. But it's a wonderful 17-minute album, and I'm going to listen to this a lot. Rudosa is also good, but it's this whole, the oots. So, it starts right off, and it's just, but it's a really nice bass sound. And it layers in kind of like a surprisingly sensitive keyboard part. In general, it's a very low-key album. It's up-tempo, but it's kind of low-key. And the whole thing just creates an atmosphere, It's not a depressing atmosphere, but it's not really like a super excited atmosphere either. It's a nice example of just very minimalist production. I imagine that it didn't take a long time to create this album. That doesn't mean it's bad, but for the most part, it's just a beat and then one or two different synthesizers coming in. I could be wrong. Maybe this takes a long time to make. Again, please tell me. By the way, I'm discovering I love it when people correct me in the comments, so please correct me, because I don't pretend to be an expert. Well, except in teaching French, but I don't make videos about that. And there's not a lot that goes on here, but it's very well done. So if you like, with fairly subtle soundscape underneath it, this is great. The second song, you sound kind of like you're stuck in machinery, which is kind of nice. I like that kind of robotic sound. The last track is a little bit more aggressive. In general, I suggest this album, but I'm not passionate about it. It's a great example of what it is. If you want that atmosphere, this is what you should get. I don't know, too. I can't tell if this is the kind of music where drugs make it more exciting, or which drugs. I've never done drugs, so I don't know. But maybe there's some kind of correlation between the way this album sounds and some drug usage. I don't know. Ooh, maybe don't put that in the comments. You can if you want, but I'm not responsible if the feds are watching. Watch out for jakes and snakes, as Redman tells us. So that's my review. For Head Nod, I love the Craze album. I enjoyed the Rudosa album. And they're both DJs. And they're both good at what they do. I will say two things that I saw on the TVs, because while I'm at the gym, I'm looking at the TVs while I'm listening to music, I'm writing down notes. I'm very busy at the gym. Apparently Fox News has a new channel or something, and underneath it just says, "Opinion done right," which I think is just a beautifully absurd sentence. I'm not criticizing you if you enjoy Fox News, everyone has their preferences. But "opinion done right" is such an offensive sentence. It's hilarious. And then the other one was there was a commercial for a hearing aid with Jonathan Winter. And it's Jonathan Winter is still alive. Would you have ever guessed that the old guy in Mork and Mindy would outlive Mork? Big questions from Skye. Okay, until then, I will see you. I'm almost at 100 subscribers, so I'm going to do some special things there with some old promises I had made. I never expected to get 15 subscribers, so... All right. So please have a good day. There's the camera. Right there. I'm going to cover it up.